Welcome back, Goslings, to your weekly vlog. Once again, we have a very long story, so I do not have time to answer a question about myself. We're going to get right into the story from Tamzar. They say, I wasn't sure if my roommate was real or a ghost. Now, this is something I deal with quite often because I live in a place with some real people and many ghosts. So when someone new shows up, I'm never really sure if it's a person or a shade of a person. About 7 years ago, I, bracket, 28 female now, was having a hard time finding an apartment in my budget during my internship in a new city. After talking to many realtors, one finally helped me find a two-bedroom apartment with a lady, bracket 30 female, who happened to be from my hometown, but we never met before. Now, Ghostlings, how big is your hometown? Because if you're from a major city, odds are you wouldn't meet that person, but if it's a small town like 15 people, well, then you should be embarrassed. This apartment was the top floor of a very narrow building in a busy local market and well within my budget. Sounds great. The arrangement I had with the lady was that we'd share the kitchen and living spaces, but we had our own bedrooms and bathrooms. She also let me have her old bed, which wasn't in great condition but worked for me. Beds are extremely cursed, Goslings. If you ever get a used bed, you're going to get a demon. Or worse, a love interest. My bathroom was also accessible from the common lobby between our bedrooms. When I was moving in, my mother was there and helped me out, and also happened to have a conversation with the lady about her job in our hometown. She mentioned that she travels an hour away for work all week and goes to visit her family on weekends. She seemed very sweet, but there was an awkward interaction I had witnessed between her and the realtor that made me wonder if they were seeing each other. After my mom left, I realized that she had been the only one who saw the entire apartment and had been in the lady's room. Maybe you should go to your roommate's room, knock on the door and say, hello, what's going on in here? Why is there a coffin? Because sometimes your roommate has a coffin. The lady never offered me to hang out with her, and I didn't want to bother her if she didn't want to be friends. She frequently used to come to my room. She told me to lock the door of the bathroom that was accessible from the lobby for privacy. Ghostwings, it seems like she was trying to protect you from something. Maybe something insidious? Let's find out. I locked it on the day I moved in and never opened it since. Our arrangement for the kitchen was to cook on our own if needed instead of hiring help, as we used to be out for work for the most part. How rich were you that you would hire help in the kitchen? Goslings, that's insane. A week passed. She used to leave for work before I did and came home after I did. I used to come home and make dinner. A couple of times, I noticed there were dirty utensils and flour on the kitchen counter that I assumed was her doing, as I didn't really go into the kitchen in the mornings. I just assumed she was messy. That's a fair assumption. At the end of the week, she asked me if I'd been leaving my utensils on the kitchen counter like that. Boom, boom, boom! I told her that was weird because I thought it was her. She said it wasn't, but we ignored it, thinking we must have missed something because of our busy schedules. Okay. In the following week, the same thing kept happening. We didn't discuss it as we preferred to just stay in our rooms and didn't interact much. I assumed she must have hired a cook. Again, Goslings, why would that be the assumption? If someone is leaving mysterious utensils and flour around your house, is your first thought, well, I guess somebody hired a cook? Absolutely not! You think ghost! You think chef ghost, baker ghost, probably because it's flour. It's probably a former baker who baked too close to the sun and burned up like a pumpernickel. I used to eat a lot of bread, Goslings. A couple weeks in, my friends came over for a sleepover that I discussed with the lady. Goslings, it's weird that she doesn't have a name. She's just the lady. It's kind of mysterious. She didn't mind. It was raining when my friends got there. We wanted to get some drinks, and my friends went out in the rain to find something, but couldn't go too far and got what they found at a nearby wine shop. They brought back a very creepy bottle of whiskey. It was shaped like the head of a man gasping for air and was called Crazy Romeo. Have you ever had this drink, Ghostlings? crazy, Romeo? Might be a cursed object. Wine shops that sell cursed objects, thus making you drink more wine. It's kind of genius, Gosling. We had a laugh about this choice of theirs and decided to try it. After one shot each, all four of us combined decided it was too disgusting and felt spiked, so we stopped drinking it before it did any harm. Goslings? It might be cursed. We put it in the empty closet that I wasn't using. That closet was adjoining the wall of the lady's bedroom. Later that night, all four of us slept on the same bed. Goslings, that must have been a big bed. All of us had heard a weird noise coming from inside the closet. We wondered what that lady must be doing at that hour. The noises were getting spookier, and we opened the closet door to listen in. I told them I was getting bad vibes from that creepy whiskey bottle. They agreed, and we flushed the whiskey down the toilet and threw the bottle in the trash. Later that night, the poor old bed broke under the weight of four fidgety adults. Not so big then, I guess, Goslings. The room was too small for us to sleep on the floors, so two of us went in the living room, and me and my friend slept on the floor next to the bathroom door. Goslings, if you were hosting your friends over, would you make them sleep in the living room, or would you say, I got this one? I don't know, for the other two to wake up if they needed to use the loo because there was no space to walk otherwise. Note that none of us were drunk at this point. Why is that relevant? I woke up at the crack of dawn and went to the bathroom. Everyone else was asleep. On the shelf beside me, I saw the bottle of liquid that looked like toilet cleaner. It was a plain white plastic bottle with thick orange liquid inside. I picked it up to check because I had never seen it before in my bathroom. Assuming that one of my friends must have got it, I left it there and went back to sleep. When my friends were leaving, I asked them if they took that bottle in the bathroom they had. They laughed at me. Why would they bring their own cleaning supplies to a sleepover? Weird! I agree, Goldstrings, that is weird. You also believe that the mysterious tequila was spiked, so, and you think your first instinct is, there must be a chef in the house. I went to the bathroom after seeing them off, and the bottle was gone. But there was a mark left from the liquid. I checked the lobby door. It was still locked. I asked the lady if she had by chance left any cleaning liquid in my bathroom. She said she hadn't been in the bathroom since I moved in. I told myself I must be mistaken and cleaned the mark and the rest of the bathroom. In the evening, when I came home to sleep, I once again heard noises from the closet. I tried to listen in, and it sounded like whispers. I was scared now. I had never seen the bedroom of the lady, and the sounds were coming from there, and I was already a little spooked out of my interactions with her. The next morning, when she was getting dressed for work, she closed the bedroom door, as usual, and was packing her purse in the hallway. It was raining. Seems to rain a lot here. I asked her if someone had slept with her as well. Personal question. She said no. I asked her how she was going to go to work in the weather. She said she'd catch a cab for the market. How was she getting to work before? I thought she was driving. Gossings, this story is too long and I'm forgetting the plot. When she left the house, I heard her walk down the stairs and run to the balcony. I had had a realization. It was that I had never seen her actually leave the building or come back in before. I was at the balcony before she could reach the ground. I waited for about 40 minutes. She never left the building. I went downstairs to see if she was stuck due to the rain, but she wasn't there. I immediately called my mother and asked if she had noticed anything odd about the lady or her room. I thought I'd been living with a ghost. My mom said I was being silly and these stories were bizarre. I let it go, thinking I must have mismatched the timings. A few days later, on the weekend, the lady was going out with someone. Out of nowhere, she decided to introduce me to her boyfriend that was in the house. That was it. For months, he had been living in the house. What? Cooking in the kitchen, cleaning behind our backs, talking to her in the middle of the night. Almost all the weird things were explained. She didn't tell me about the guy because she was a very private woman, but it was so odd that another person was living in our shared apartment that I didn't know of or was even. I didn't make it awkward, and instead we decided to go out together with another friend of mine. We all went out, walked, out of the building and went to the mall, had a dinner at a restaurant, and walked back inside the building. She was real, not a ghost. She is now married to the boyfriend, and they have a little girl. We didn't stay in touch, but yes, I still think about those incidents and remember them vividly. Ghost rings! This Reddit forum is called Ghost Stories. This is not a ghost story. This is a neighbor story. I'm very, very displeased by this, Ghost Rings. Very displeased. Trust me, Ghostlings, you would know if your roommate was a ghost, okay? They would not be interacting with everyone. This isn't like the movies, Ghostlings, where the plot twist is, oh my gosh, Bethany was a ghost the whole time. You would know. You would know. And just know I'm disappointed in this Reddit poster. I hope they have only an average weekend. I hope it's not great. If you have your own ghost story, be sure to comment them down below and make sure it's a real ghost story, please. I'll post them on Reddit so we can all read them together. Once again, have a great weekend and farewell.